G'day everyone, I am the man called Kemosabe, the man with a plan from the land down under, and as some of you might know, I'm making a comic book. The Company Man, Dead, White and Blue is a 60-page full-colour action-adventure comic full of intrigue, betrayal and superhuman ultra-violence. I appreciate the amount of talk and retweets regarding the book that I see online, but a lot of people don't seem to know too much about the individual characters themselves. I thought maybe I'd put together some smaller videos, some shorter videos, that can help you get familiar with these characters and maybe inspire you to sign up for the campaign. Backers who sign up to the campaign go into the draw to win original art pages from the first book. This is some concept work of Abbott. He's the tank of the team, obviously. You might have seen this before, somewhere online. I don't think these bingos are really supposed to be played seriously. I think they're more used as commentary on tropes and stereotypes. But I thought it might be fun to go through this, filling in for Abbott. I'm pretty sure we'll get a bingo, but I'm confident also that Abbott's different enough and enough fun. Is fun to write. So if he's fun to write, I'm hoping he'll be fun to read. I'm pretty sure he'll be a lot of people's favourite character. Now, as is often the case in these kind of bingo maps, they give you a free one in the middle here. In this case, it's anti-hero. Yes, Abbott is definitely an anti-hero in the definition of he does good things but in a bad way. So I've got anti-hero in the middle, and let's start at the top corner. Military rank. No, even though Abbott was designed, grown and made by the US military, he never actually had a military rank. He is very much the Captain America of this world, but he wasn't assigned a rank like Captain America was, whether it was real or just for show. Title or designation instead of a name. No, he's not. You know, you look at these games, I'm thinking Dragon Age, where very often you're referred to as Warden. Abbott's just Abbott, he's just called Abbott. It is a surname, but like Madonna or Cher, he just has the one name. It's a name he adopted after he left the military and travelled the country. He's chosen the name Abbott for himself. It's not a title or a designation. Criminal, yes, he commits crimes. He commits lots of crimes. Most of what he does are crimes, so he definitely is a criminal. Vigilante. He does operate outside of the law. I think there's a lot of overlap there. Like, all vigilantes are criminals, but not all criminals are vigilantes, but I'll give myself this one. So yes, he's a vigilante. Killing spree humans. Yes, he is a merciless killer. He kills whoever's in his way. I'd say that he enjoys it. Not that he enjoys hurting people or enjoys any particular part of the killing, like any particular violent act. It's more that he enjoys the power, I think, and just knowing how much stronger he is than everybody else. I mean, he defaults to violence. If there's a problem, his first reaction is to throw a punch or to hit or strike or attack the problem. There's several instances in the book where the company men are trying to do something, a little bit of tact, a little bit of diplomacy, and Abbott just says, oh well, screw that, and jumps in swinging, and they've all got to deal with the consequences of his actions. So he definitely earns a killing spree humans. Hardened veteran. I mean, he's nearly 80 years old, 90 years old. I've got to give him this one. Even though he wasn't typically in the military, you don't have to be in the military to be considered, like veteran. You can be veteran anything. You can be a veteran teacher. You can be a veteran stripper. You can be a veteran garbage collector, like someone who's just done something for a long time. So I'm going to take veteran in the non-literal sense. I'm going to take it in the he's hardened, yes, and he's someone who's been doing what he's been doing for a long time. He's been engaging in violence, motivated violence for a long time. So I'm going to give him hardened veteran. Blasé about killing. He's blasé about his own killing, but if he sees someone else killing, he sees someone else killing someone he thinks doesn't deserve to be killed, he'll get really angry about that, and he'll probably kill the person who did the killing. I suppose the condition is in some way, is he blasé about some killing in some way? Yes, so he gets this one, he gets this box as well. This is another one, loner. Again, I'm going to have to put the condition of, is he sometimes alone? Does he at times prefer to be alone? But yes, so does everybody. He's not exclusively a loner. It's not like he's not a team player. It's not like he can't work with a team. He spent a lot of time alone travelling America, learning about the country that made him. But he also has friends and confidants and allies and people he cares about, people he'll kill and die for. And he's happy to work in a team, particularly if you're paying him. I don't think I'm going to give him loner. I don't think he gets loner. But he's still he might not be human in the strictest sense, but he's still a man. He's still a person. And there are times where he enjoys having company, he enjoys working in a team. And even in the company men, even though he's older than all of them, he's longer lived than all of them, he's probably more powerful than the rest of them put together, debatably, he still treats them like peers and for the most part equal. So I'm not going to give him loner. Cold and aloof. I don't think so. He's big and he's jovial and he likes to laugh and he likes crude jokes and he likes to get a rise out of people and he likes to offend and he likes to eat and he likes to drink and he likes to fight and he likes to have sex, and he's like not quite id to the extreme, but he's his Venn diagram is certainly leaning into the id. If he wants it, he takes it. If he wants to do it, he does it. If he doesn't have it, he gets it if he wants it. He just absolute power corrupts absolutely. He's one of the most powerful guys on the planet, so he certainly does what he wants when he wants. Eats big, drinks big, lives big, laughs big. I certainly wouldn't call him cold and aloof. Yes, he is white. He is actually technically the whitest of the entire team. When I first described him, when I was doing the first document for Company Men, I described his like Celtic, pale skin, very, very pale. He's got very pale skin, very pale blonde hair. Sweden, Scandinavia. Yeah, like the big Scandinavian stereotype, like big, strong, blonde, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, definitely white. Dark humour in the face of danger. Yes, he's very inappropriate. He thinks nothing of making an off-colour joke when someone's dead, dying or hurt, if he thinks it'll make him laugh. Again, he just does stuff for himself. If he thinks it's funny, he'll say it. He's not too worried about it. Because what's the social consequences of saying an inappropriate joke or saying something inappropriate in general? People, they look at you funny, they treat you funny, they treat you with disdain, they might sort of edge you out of the group a bit. Well, he doesn't really worry about that. He's outlived most people he knows. He will continue to outlive pretty much everybody he knows. He's got friends all over the world, people that he trusts, and again, will fight and die for. So if he says something and someone doesn't like it, when you've got old people, you talk to old people and say, I'm too old to care what people think, I'm too old for this. I'm getting to that point myself, I'm not even that old. But something will happen, I'll think, I've been putting up with this for 40 years, I've been putting up with this rudeness, I've been putting up with this ignorance for 40 years. I'm tired. I don't want to hear people talk this ignorance anymore. And so you speak up and you speak out, and people go, rude old bastard, look at this rude old man doesn't care what people think. Well, you get to a point where I think you don't so much. You're so tired of what you used to be as ignorance, you feel like you have to speak out. So he's a bit like that. He's seen it all, done it all. He's been around since the Second World War, and he's still in his prime, so he doesn't see there's anything wrong with being a bit cheeky now and then. Biceps as big as your thigh. Bigger, please. But yes, we already had the anti-hero. Oh, I'm getting worried now. I think we're getting close to a bingo. Makes a living being violent. Yes, he is a mercenary. There's even a line in Company Men where they get burned by the government and they're on their own. They've got to sort of solve the mystery, solve the problem themselves while being hunted and investigated by their own superiors. And some of the Company Men talk about cutting out. We could just disappear and make them work for it. They'd never find us. We could just disappear to the corners of the earth and just keep doing what we're doing. And Abbott says, hell with that, I'm not going back to freelance. So he definitely does get paid to be violent. So Abbott's got a spin-off book that I've written. That's not the name of it, but it just about could be. It could be like The Company Men presents Abbott, no patience for politics, because he really, there we go, we've got a bingo, ladies and gents. He really doesn't have time for the political BS and the back and forward. Again, he sells problems with his fists. He's violent. Why would he care about diplomacy? And he's not a mindless brute that sees a situation that requires diplomacy and he starts punching people in the face for the hell of it. Like he can reel it back in. Well, there we go. We've got a bingo right through the middle. I'm almost disappointed how quickly that happened, but we'll keep going anyway. Guns, lots of guns. Abbott almost never uses guns. So there's times in Company Men where Juror will say, in the middle of the field, maybe they don't have binoculars or whatever with them, say, but what can you see? What's the situation over there? And he's just got to peer at it and he can focus and he can see much, much further than the human eye can. So with the ability to sort of zoom in those enhanced senses, he's actually a crack shot. He's a 10 out of 10, always hits the playing card right on the ace of spades every time, but he doesn't tend to use guns. There was a time there where I thought about having him be equipped with a pistol, just because there's a psychological element of having a gun in your face. You have a huge Ronnie Coleman looking dude threaten to punch you in your face. That is scary. That is terrifying. But there's few things more terrifying than looking down the black barrel of a gun. But I thought that was below him to have to resort to threatening someone with a gun and then saying, hey, by the way, I'm really, really strong and bulletproof and I can peel your skin off you like I'm unwrapping a candy bar. He's beyond guns. So definitely not guns. He does brood now and then, but like any big, strong, you look at like Conan. Conan would brood, but also had huge periods of mirth and joy, and cruelty and anger and fear of magic. Like he had big emotions. Abbott feels big, so when he feels down, yes, he's broody, but he's not brooding all the time. He's probably the most upbeat of all the team. When something goes wrong, he's like, oh, well, it'll be right. And he feels that way because he is invincible, because he is unstoppable, and because very little can kill or hurt him. So what's he really got to worry about? So he doesn't get brooding. The psychological problems is an interesting one. I'm sure if somebody was to psychologically assess him, they'd say he has psychological problems, but it's not anything I could point to. I don't know enough about that. He might have some sort of, like sociopathic tendencies because he doesn't tend to view people as valuable as himself, or he only cares about the people he cares about, which sounds recursive, but he's like that because of his physical condition, because of how strong and powerful he is. So somebody who's normal who has those feelings probably is sociopathic or something. I don't know what the correct term would be, but I don't know if you could call him that, because people literally are weaker, and in his mind, like, he's saved the world multiple times. In his mind, regular people are basically less important, less valuable than him. Even though he does tend to stand up for the little people, it's more because he can, and because it's a chance for him to hit someone. He's looking for fights and problems and bullies because he's the biggest bully there is. He wants to step in and say, hey, you're bullying someone, I'm going to hurt you for that now. He needs that justification. There's probably some deep-seated element of him being, he knows he was grown and designed to be a hero. When he stepped off the plane on the soil of Berlin, ready to kill Hitler, he did so garbed in red, white and blue in full Captain America-style regalia. And no sooner as he stepped off the plane, then somebody comes up and says, sir, we've got news. The Führer's dead. Hitler's killed himself. So his whole life, his short life up to that point, because he was grown in a lab, he's not strictly human. He wasn't born. He doesn't have a navel or fingerprints. His whole purpose was to be this big hero, to go and conquer and to kill Hitler and stop this great evil, and it was taken from him. So he's never really, I guess, felt like he's able to be that hero, and so that's why he probably does look for opportunities to defend other people, even though he doesn't necessarily value them as much as he values himself. I'm going to say no to the psychological problems. He's too big and happy and stable. I mean, he's consistent. He's too consistent. Maybe I don't know enough about psychology to be able to comment on this one. Maybe you should just ignore the last 2 minutes of me talking. Lots of armour. No, he is armour. His skin's super strong. He's bulletproof. He's tank-proof. He's fireproof. He's acid-proof. He's heat-proof. He's cold-proof. He can breathe poison air and not hurt his insides. He's, so he doesn't have armour. He doesn't need armour. He just gets around in boots, BDUs and a tank top. Gritty reboot. No, this is the first time out. This is a brand new, exciting action franchise that you guys are getting on board with. I wouldn't call it gritty anyway. I'd call the book grounded, if anything. Yeah, you got superhuman guys throwing cars at each other, but aside from that, the politics and the scheming and the scamming and the back and forward and the getting information and the betraying one another and using this information source against that information source and I think it's very grounded. I've described it before as like Body of Lies meets Homeland meets Suicide Squad, or Copra. You got that sort of boots on the ground, people dealing with the. There's no good guys. They go get information from some guy who runs a bar, a hookah bar, HOOKAH, hookah bar, and people say you can't do business with him. He provides guns to terrorists and traffics slaves. And it's like, yeah, he does, but it's not. We can't necessarily stop that, and he's got the information we need, so we're gonna work with him for as long as it suits us, and he'll betray us at some point. We just got to get in and betray him before that happens, but after he's stopped being useful. It's lots of shades of grey, very, very difficult to find just straight up black and white in this book. Bald, crew cut, yes, he has a mohawk. He has like he's got a Mr. T like stripe down the middle of his head. Scowls a lot. Like, what's a lot? He scowls half the time, he smiles the other half. I'm not giving him that one. When they say supernatural powers, I'm going to go like superhuman powers, like anything preternatural, anything beyond the normal, so he definitely gets that. Killing spree, aliens, others. There's no evidence of aliens in the company men at all at this point, so that's not possible. There's no other like races or beings. There's not moloids or mole men or Morlocks or anything like that, so I don't think that applies either. He'll kill anything, but the only thing he kills in the company men, dead, white and blue, is other humans. They killed my wife, child, family, I make them pay. No, he doesn't have any of that. And if there's some tragic death in his backstory, we don't know about it, so that one doesn't apply either. So looking at this, what's that, 5 by 5, so there's 25 here, 3, 6, 11, 12, 13. 13 out of 25. Half of 25 is 12 and a half, so he's just on half, just slightly over half. That's not too bad. I think a lot of people assume Abbott's a very typical big angry tank, like Hulk with a different shade of paint, but there's a lot more to him than that. He's not as simple as that, and he's a really interesting character to read and write. This is why he's the first one to get his own spin-off. I hadn't even finished the first Company Man book and already had an idea for a spin-off of Abbott. So that's Abbott's attempt at Male Protagonist Bingo. I hope you feel like you know the character a little bit better after this. The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, 60-page full-colour comic. The campaign is planned to be starting early 2021, most likely February. That only gives you just over a month to sign up for the campaign. Link to the campaign sign-up page in the description below. Backers who sign up go into the draw to win original art pages from the book. So I've got my artist from South America sending me over a bunch of pages from the book, original art. I'm going to raffle those off, probably live, so everybody can see it's above board at some point. And those backers who signed up, who win these art pages, I'll ship that art out with their book. And it's all going to be good pages. You know, sometimes people get original art and it's just people standing around talking, or it's a slow pan over a city or something. You know, you don't want that. You want action pages. So I'm going to give you action pages. You're going to be getting fight pages. You're going to be getting people's jaws punched out of the head. You're going to get cars being thrown at people. You're going to be getting explosions and superpowered energy blasts and that sort of thing. You know, there's quite a great big fight at the end where the company men come into conflict with this other mercenary team. It's almost like the freelance version of them, I guess you could say, has been hired to kill someone, and they have to stop these guys because they want information from the person that's going to be killed. So there's a significant, you know, like nearly a dozen pages of fight right at the end of the book there. It's just a big fight that it leads up to. That's the end of issue 1. The pages I'm going to be giving away are going to be drawn from those combat pages, or from those other pages that have got action and it's got actual stuff happening. I don't want people to be disappointed with the pages they get. So I'm thinking that's enough incentive to get you to sign up to the campaign. You sign up, and then you back and you go into the draw for those pages. I feel like you know the character a little bit better after this. I've got to think of some other way to introduce this audience to the other 5 characters in the team. If you want to know more, I'll also have a link below of the Origins video I did for the company men that explains in greater detail who they are, what they can do and why they do what they do, as well as the inspiration for creating them, how I come about creating them, like the process, if that sort of thing interests you. I hope you join me for the next video. Thanks for watching and take care.